Welcome to Life, Laughter, Divorce podcast. I am your host, Leanne Linsky.
And I'm the boyfriend.
And we are very excited to be here with another week of divorce for you. So why
It's a wonderful week of divorce.
Always, right? It's all in our mind and how we perceive it. Hey, while you're out there tuning in, make sure you rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, FM Player, or tune in. That's right. We're everywhere.
We are everywhere.
Can't get away from us, can you?
You should easily be able to find us.
And if not, go to our website at lifelaughterdivorce.com and it will give you instructions on how to.
What else is at the website?
You know what else is on the website is our retail shop. You can shop for all your holiday needs and treat yourself to something special with our handcrafted and lighthearted soaps and candles made especially for divorcees.
And I've also found out that you guys have some holiday scents or
yes,
what, is
we
that how
do.
you would say it?
Yes, we have some special scents just for the holiday season. We thought peppermint would be appropriate. So we have soaps with peppermint essential oils. That's right. We have aromatherapy candles and soaps. And our peppermint scented ones are called annulment. Very clever. So you can get annulment soaps and candles for all of your annulment needs. And we also have spearmint with rosemary essential oils. And those are called estrangement.
Check out the website, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. Check it out. Have some fun with that. Put it on your wish list. Put it on Santa's list of what you need this holiday season. So anyway, boyfriend, this week I wanted to ask you about living together. What's it like? I think you have lived most of your adult life on your own, by yourself, no roommates.
Well, yeah, as pertaining to this podcast that we do here, I've never lived with another woman that I've been involved with. And then most of my life, when I've been able to do it, I've lived solo, lived by myself. There's a few stints during university time where I've had to be with roommates, but other than that, I lived by myself, and I've loved it.
What was your experience like when you had roommates? What were the benefits of that?
Financial benefits.
Right, yeah.
And again, when you're in school, it's nice to have people around going through the same sort of stresses. So that was nice to have. But once I got out of those situations, it was not necessary, and I loved the freedoms of living by myself.
Was it weird for you living by yourself after a while, like the first time you did it?
No, I actually strived for it. I wanted to live by myself, almost as a way to show that I could. Because when you're growing up and you have all these people around to help you and things, it was almost a badge of honor. I can do it. I can take care of myself and all the things that go along with living by yourself. And then when you have roommates, it's just making compromises and things. But when I had the opportunity, definitely live by myself.
Yeah. I think I go back and forth. There were times I've always really liked living by myself. I've never really had a problem with it. It's kind of nice.
Yes.
It's exciting.
But there are challenges because you're responsible for everything. Cleaning
and financially, it's definitely nice to have a roommate.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's nice to have the company. I think when I went through my second divorce, for a good period of time, I lived by myself, and then I had a home. I bought a house and I ended up renting out a room and having a roommate who was a good friend of mine. And I actually look back and I think, boy, that was probably a really good thing for me at the time because it expanded my circle of friends. It got me out there. It kept me socializing and it kept my focus on growing as an individual rather than in a couple. And because I always had someone to talk to, I didn't feel lonely. I didn't feel the need to get involved into another relationship right away. So in that sense, I think it was
that's probably really good for you since your first two marriages were bookends and we were back to back.
Back, yeah. So it was a nice break and I liked it. And now, living on my own, it's definitely, it feels good. It feels, there's a sense of independence and like you say, like it's a badge of honor to be able to take care of yourself and make sure you have what you need.
But I also think it helps you. I think it better prepares me to open up my doors for that special somebody when I'm ready for them. Because again, now I've had that experience and I know what it's like, and it makes me better informed of what it can be like with somebody else in my life.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, less distraction, a little bit easier to pay attention.
Well, the flip side is if you're always with somebody and then you live with somebody, then you come out of it trying to figure your own self out. So for me, I'm ready to live with somebody else. But when you've always lived with somebody and now that's ended, now you're by yourself and you're sort of estranged. You got to learn how to do all of those things on your own.
And if you're in that place, we have estrangement, which is spearmint with rosemary essential oils. I couldn't resist. I just never hear that word. Sorry, shameless plug. Well, this just makes sense when you guys get into the rest of this episode about how crazy things got. Because the boyfriend and I actually took a road trip to Vegas and recorded this episode live with our guest this week.
On Thanksgiving.
Yes. It was a very interesting Thanksgiving for us in general. And then we went over to our guest house to do this episode. So our guest this week is a very, very good friend of mine and a very talented and brilliant actor living in Las Vegas, Mr. Glenn Heath. So without further ado, I'd like you to meet Glenn. So Glenn, welcome to Life, Lafter, Divorce podcast.
Thanks.
So good to be here.
Now we're starting. All right.
We're starting right now.
Awesome.
And just so our listeners know, we're starting right now in Las Vegas.
Again.
Yes, again. But this time on Thanksgiving, even though when you're hearing this, it won't be.
Do they get the pre-show?
Yeah, they'll get the pre-show.
Special features.
You're getting some special outtakes from Turkey Day.
The director's cut. We talk over, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, for the listening audience, Leanne and the boyfriend, yeah, okay.
The guy.
That works. Demoted to the guy.
Just the guy. No attachment whatsoever.
Brought over a cheese plate and what's left of a bottle of wine, and so
yes,
it was full.
It was full, right? We should put that out there. It's like I just didn't pick up here's a half bottle.
So this podcast brought to you by Pinot Noir and Brie.
Our official sponsors. So happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
And happy not Thanksgiving to everybody listening because the holiday has passed, but I hope it was good.
Yeah. We're still in the holiday season, though.
But
by the time they get to listen to this, it'll be even past Black Friday, right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And Cyber Monday.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, I hope you got all the good sales. Oh, go to Fry's tomorrow. They've got computers for like $50. Oh, you missed it.
Another misplaced ad from another non-sponsor.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. You can edit that out in post.
Nope. It's staying. That's in. It's in.
Damn.
It's staying, man.
Right. Well,
it's staying.
Free publicity for them.
So if you don't notice, Glenn and I know each other. And we know each other we figured it out about 15 years back.
Oh, no, not that far back.
No?
No. I moved here in 2004, so 2004, 2005, so
13.
12, 13.
13, okay.
Yeah,
so
we'll go with 17 years.
We're theater people. Yeah. Math is not a friend.
No, so. Math is not important.
It's not
unless
that
it's
either.
A number on the floor and the director tells me to go stand on 2. It's not
then
important.
It matters.
Wow.
And the boyfriend, on the other hand, may think differently, but we're here for your entertainment. So 12, 13 years ago.
We'll go with that, sure.
Then we were doing improv comedy. Is there any other form of improv?
The non-comedy form of improv, which I'm sure we did some of that as well.
We did, and we called that drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was actually a lot of drama in our improv realm.
There was.
Yeah.
Boy, we took our comedy seriously, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all of those those shows and the coffee shops were.
Well, yeah, Rockin' Java
Yeah, the
was the
Rockin'
coffee
Java.
shop, and you were in Comedy Off the Cuff too.
Oh,
when
yeah,
we did it
at
at
the
the
Hot
Rod
Grill?
Cafe.
Cafe. Yeah, the Hot Rod Grill.
Yeah,
And
and that
the-
was great because we'd get a pizza afterwards, so we didn't necessarily make money, but we got like paid in food.
We did. We got pizza and notes.
Yeah,
Yeah. Remember we'd get notes from the director?
yeah, and now all you get these days is exposure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good exposure.
That's why I perform, is for the exposure.
Right?
So,
Yeah.
so is there still an improv scene here?
There is, and it's a smaller group, but there's been some. There's a couple of groups that have been performing 5-6 years still. I hosted a show for about 3 years. It was kind of like an audience participation, whose line is it anyway type show, and I did that for about 3 years, and that was taken over by a friend of mine, and he still does improv, but the scene is kind of.
Are they still
fizzled.
doing shows at the beach? That's what I want to know. And the beach is a bar, not the actual beach. Obviously, we're in the desert. That would be weird.
I would say don't know, but now that you have another unpaid sponsor, they can probably go look it up.
Yeah, right? There's that. Or Jose Hogs. Which,
Yeah, oh, well, good luck finding Jose Hogs even on a map. I think it's freaking frogs now.
is it? Is it just take odd
Yeah, they
animal names? And
that way they only had to change one letter off the marquee.
that's the place where my Jeep was broken into. I came outside and they had slashed through the window.
I
I'm like, you
remember
could
that.
have just unzipped it. Like, why slash my
I
window?
remember that.
Yeah. Still everything.
I'm still trying to think of the road trip we went on that you mentioned during the
We
pre-show.
went on some road trip, but I don't remember where we went.
Probably Pulte Homes, because that was way in the boondocks then.
Was it just going out to the model homes? Where were we shopping? Where did we spend all this money we earned at Jose Hogs doing an improv show on a Monday night? No?
I don't remember making a penny off of improv, but
Oh, I didn't pay you out.
let's see, 12 years plus interest.
Is that what happened?
I got paid in cheese.
Oh, right.
I'll take it.
Yeah. I love the shows where we have to go and we have to buy a drink and food and to get stage time.
Mhm.
Remember those? Those are good. Those are good.
And now it's I go perform and then go drink.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're here. And I haven't seen you in what we figured out probably like 4 years.
Yeah.
And when I was living here and we were doing shows, at that time you were married.
No, I've been divorced since 2011.
No, but when we were doing shows.
Oh, yeah.
Then back then you were married.
Mhm.
And that was your first marriage?
Only marriage, yeah.
Your only marriage.
And we were married for 15 years. We were together for 20. And we're still raising our daughter, even though she's a grown woman at this point. But still living in my house. So, the Smith Center is like our Broadway touring show theater.
Mhm.
And we have tickets for the shows there. So,
You and your ex-wife.
and,
Oh.
and Olivia. So, can I say her name on that?
You can
Olivia?
say whatever you want.
Okay.
Makes editing easier.
Yeah, sure. And it's one of those where, we still try to do a few things as a family. It doesn't always work. Having been divorced since 2011, obviously things have changed. She's been in other relationships. I've been in other relationships. And, we give each other the space necessary, but, we still have a kid. So that's always been the priority, and has allowed us to at least remain cordial and friendly. Not initially. I mean, the first year of the divorce, I probably could have been arrested for some of the things I was saying in public, but and I will apologize to my daughter later for traumatizing her in those situations. But I was angry, and it I realized from all that that. I'm going to bring it down, really depressing. I was diagnosed with chronic depression 25 years ago, and I never treated it. And it was probably a big chunk of why I was divorced. But, getting divorced, I had a nervous breakdown and went and got counseling. So, there was at least a positive side of it. If my wife had never left me, I'd never sought treatment. So thanks. Yeah, I told you we'd get maudlin real quick.
Yeah. Well,
we'll get that out of the way.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right. I mean, divorce is
not always funny.
It's not always funny. I mean, in hindsight, we can make jokes and we could laugh about it and we can reframe it. But I think during the process, it certainly has its moments.
Well, in hindsight, being 20/20 most of the time, you can look back and go, well, here's what I could have done to make things different. And not that I can go back and change things, but I changed things going forward and was able to acknowledge, mistakes that I had made and at least repair our friendship. I don't think you can necessarily marry someone without being friends with them. And if that's how things started, if you can recover at least that much, I think you've succeeded somehow. And again,
because I believe it was during that time when we were all performing that you were going through your divorce.
It was 2010, and you had left by then.
I had actually left by then. Yeah, you're right.
I was doing less improv at that time. I was still doing some. I was doing I'd actually moved down to Laughlin for a couple of years.
Really? I don't think I knew that.
Yeah. My ex-wife is a librarian, and she had taken a job down at the library down there, and we moved down there. I commuted to Henderson for about a year and a half from Laughlin. And for the folks listening, that's a 90-mile each way.
Yeah.
I did that for a year and a half.
Wow.
Needless to say, that car is gone. But I was towards the end of our time living down there in Laughlin, I started doing another improv show at Town Square in Vegas, and it was a fun show called Free Beer. Basically, we had two teams of fraternities, Tap a Keg of Brew and I ought to pop a keg or something like that. And basically we played beer pong or the
Tap a keg or pop a keg.
I felt a thigh. I ate a pie. I don't know. But the audience, an audience member would come up and play another audience member in beer pong, and whoever got the first ping pong, and it was a tiny little table, so really all you had to do was just reach over and drop the ball in. But the games were written on the bottom of the cups. And so the two fraternities would play against each other for the paddle, which I have right here in the audience. You can't see it, but it's this great, fraternity paddle. Actually, do it's in my room.
I'm sure you do, Glenn.
And so, at the end of the show, whichever fraternity won, they would get free beer, and obviously the audience would drink the beer out of the beer pong cups. Not necessarily good beer, but and then the losing team would have to play a punishment game. And our game that we typically did was Mousetraps, where we had 100 live mousetraps strewn across the floor. The losing team would be blindfolded and barefoot, and they would have to play the alphabet game. Look it up, kids.
Yep.
Improv game, yesand.com. Another free sponsor. Damn.
And you're also doing very good object work right now. I wish everybody could see it.
Oh, yeah. Live mousetraps, alphabet game, blindfolded.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Real mousetraps for real?
Yes. And of course, it would devolve into somebody getting on their hands and knees and finding one and then throwing it at another player or, oh, yeah.
What was the worst injury?
Somebody got a lip once.
Oh,
no. There was always, obviously there was toes. We learned quickly to do socks.
You'd be good at this, boyfriend.
Yeah. But there plenty of nipples and fingers got caught in mousetraps.
Seriously? Real mousetraps?
Yeah. We did another game. It was
I'm just going to quote you on nipples and fingers in the mousetraps this week. That's
the title of the episode.
Yes.
Sex sells. Yeah. We did another haiku challenge or a haiku battle, and it was best of 3, and you'd have to come up with a haiku. Look it up.
It's a poem,
575 kids. And the loser of the haiku battle, the audience would vote for the best, haiku, whatever the subject was, and the loser had to drink a shot of soy sauce.
Oh, that sounds lovely.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. I'm so glad I moved away before you did the show.
Yeah. Oh,
we should put together a new troupe. A troupe.
A new troupe of old people.
Yes. Yes. There was a improv team in New York called Old Enough, and it was everybody over the age of 40.
Yeah, there's one here called the Las Vegas LVIP, Las Vegas Improv Players. Love you guys. They're clean burning comedy. So nothing blue. So they probably won't be listening to this fucking podcast.
And we would never do that show.
No. But and there's even a theater company in town called Speeding Theater, and it's over 55 players.
That's hilarious because nobody over 40 or 55 goes very fast.
I was going to say, don't say 45, dear, because you and I are both past that.
Well, I don't know.
Your boyfriend isn't. Your boyfriend seems to be quite
exactly.
Oh, what is happening here? Wait a minute. How did this conversation just take a turn for the worse? And are you sending him messages across the table?
No, not at all.
Get out of town.
PayPal just received. Okay, good.
Venmo. What? That's bullshit. All right, you guys. I'm watching both of you now. So, yeah. So how has your life changed since divorce? Has it changed? Or has it changed?
It has. That's when I just... Oh, bro. Bro, we're not that close.
So the boyfriend, there's a bromance going on over here with the age thing, and now they're sharing food.
Feeding him like a little bird.
Things I can't unsee.
Yeah. The wonders of podcasts.
At least someone feeds me.
The boyfriend. Oh, no. Okay, well, I asked the boyfriend, would you prefer I cook today? And there was a definite no. And so, therefore, we didn't eat anything on Thanksgiving. It's been this cheese and cracker plate.
I had pizza rolls earlier.
We come to Glenn, and he left us no pizza rolls.
No, I could throw some in.
Please do.
Tortinas?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're all about it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Glenn's going to go in the kitchen right now, you guys.
We have to,
a little glass of wine, a sip of wine.
A little break. Well, let me answer the question. So what changed?
Yes, what changed? Besides
cheese, everything.
Besides what you get for dinner.
Well, no, I mean, literally, it was the first time in my entire life where I lived alone.
Really?
Yeah. I had a roommate in college, obviously grew up with parents and sisters. And when I graduated from college, I went and lived back with my parents for a few months. And then my future ex-wife and I moved in together and lived together for about 5 years before we got married. So that was the first shock. It was a very amicable divorce. I gave her everything. I just wanted, I'm the type of person that, despite what it may seem, I do want people to be happy, and I don't want to make things any more difficult than they already are. So we didn't have a lawyer. We went to a paralegal, got some papers signed, and my daughter went to live with her for a few years. My wife was more stable, and finished high school. As soon as she finished high school, she moved in here with me. But that was that was scary. I literally had a nervous breakdown, and didn't know what to do. I didn't have anyone to. My best friend was gone, so I didn't have someone to call. I didn't have a support system. All my improv friends had left. They moved away. They went to New York.
Yeah, good job, Leanne.
Okay, way to go. I feel bad.
I think you were gone a few years before any of that, but I don't think I could have counted on you anyways.
Probably not. Probably not so much.
Well, no, you'd be like, bitch, I've been through 3 of these.
Right.
Suck it up.
Suck it up.
Grow a
Toughen
pair.
up, man. Toughen up. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would have been like, well, here's a checklist. Here's what you do.
So what was it like?
Yeah.
So living alone for the first time, that's different.
Oh, yeah, and it still is. I mean, there's an aspect to being alone to where you don't have to answer to anyone. But along the same lines, you find yourself alone. I mean, and I say that's from the literal and the metaphysical sense. You are alone.
Well, you're in a different stage of your life. Like when I think about it, back in college, I live alone. I find myself, and but you're now coming out of a marriage, and like you said, you lost your best friend in the process. So how do you
reconcile all that?
Yeah, that's a big change.
You don't.
Yeah.
And I think that's, maybe a lesson to learn is that, like with everything else in life, there's no book that will tell you how to solve that. There's no podcast that will help you,
Glenn,
well,
wine.
but there is something to be learned, and you learn about yourself very quickly. You learn that you can survive. You learn that, okay, and I could do all that. I mean, I knew how to cook and clean, unlike some people.
Wow.
Yeah, just we got the bro.
I clean really well.
Yeah.
The bromance going here with the
me
boyfriend.
and Vincent D'Onofrio here.
Yes.
But I learned how to take care of myself. I was in the Marines. I know how to kill people, so it was easy.
The caring for yourself is one on a physical level.
It's just like, I mean, ignore the killing people part.
But
That's a different podcast.
But the emotional side of it, being alone, and trying to reconcile of who you are and where you're going in life is a.
And I still haven't figured that out.
How about you, Leanne? Have you figured that out yet?
Which part?
Where you going? What you
paying
doing?
attention?
Sorry, no.
She's on her 3rd glass of wine.
I'm listening to a different podcast right now.
She's watching the football game. And for those of you listening a few days from now, you already know who won.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So we don't have to tell you right now.
That's right. If we could spoil.
Yeah.
Redskins win.
Okay.
Sure.
Hey. We don't know.
Cowboys win. You don't know.
I don't even know who's playing.
I don't either.
Actually, the Cowboys lost.
They got their asses kicked. Yeah. Yay. I learned very quickly about myself. What that I could heal, but having a nervous breakdown, started having panic attacks. I got counseling, and I will never judge anyone who goes and gets counseling or needs to talk to someone. And I think something that's, I've become better at is being that person that people can talk to and listen, and I'll listen. Medication is great. I hope I don't lose it.
Going through a divorce, though, is also very humbling. It breaks you down into a place that you've never been before.
Yeah. Well, it broke me down to a shell. Everything that I had, 15 years with the same person.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't care about material objects. Didn't care at all. I went from a 5-bedroom house to a 1-bedroom great room. It was basically like I was renting a room out of somebody's house who basically would have been like, oh, this is where my grandmother's going to die. It was, a room off to the side.
And this goes back with the other podcast we were talking about where the bodies are killing people.
No.
Oh, no, it's separate. No grandmas.
No, it's Nevada. All you have to do is cut the pieces of the body up into pieces and bury them in the desert. It's totally legal.
Sorry. What?
It is
if you never hear this podcast release, guys, please come find us. We're locked up in a basement somewhere.
From my understanding, murder is illegal. However, if you have a dead body in Nevada, depending on how you want to pronounce it, or pronounce it, it is not illegal to cut up the body and bury it in the desert. Weird. I think it's illegal to bury the whole body. But
if you cut it up, you're cool.
But,
you're
and
cool.
I think that harkens back to the mafia days. I'm not sure, but if somebody wants to look that one up too, great. You can.
I'm definitely going to be. We're going to put this. We're going to put this in the show notes. We're going to be googling some links. So
She's going to be some awesome quotes for this podcast. Be like nipples and dead bodies and pizza rolls.
Tostinos, another sponsor we don't have.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Fabulous. Yeah. I'm learning so much.
It's like this podcast has gone on a completely different derailment.
People are like, am I on the wrong iTunes page? I don't know what happened. Mom Anonymous is frantically trying to take blog notes on this.
Martha, come in here and listen to this podcast.
She's like, you guys were all over the place. I don't know what the hell was going on.
There's this guy on there. I think he killed his ex-wife and buried her somewhere in the Nevada. Let's go look for her.
In pieces.
Road trip. And then ate pizza rolls.
I don't know. I'd be skeptical of these pizza rolls at this point. I don't know. Although they are very good. Pizza rolls are very good.
I should go put some.
You should.
Okay. So talk amongst yourselves.
We're going to play some on hold music now for you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Well, and for the listening audience, I do a lot of theater in Las Vegas, and my walls are full of photos and memorabilia.
Props, lots of props.
Well, I'm Dexter. It's
the plastic.
No. And for anyone who works with me in the future,
is that
I tend to take something from every show.
Is that like that encyclopedia set? Is that from a show?
No. Why would I have an encyclopedia set from a show?
I don't know.
No, it's actually a 50-volume series of classical literature. It's actually from 1959.
I don't have my glasses on.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go back to the Dexter thing. He already mentioned cutting up pieces of bodies, and now he's just talking about Dexter.
No, we're looking around.
Plastic.
I don't know.
Well, it does me no good for me to kill you before the show
You really do have blackout curtains in here.
I do.
What's that about?
Because I don't like light. Very sensitive skin.
I'm holding up a mirror right now, and I'm not seeing a reflection.
From
really
every
red
show,
wine.
I keep a prop or a costume piece.
Someone's wallet.
No, like I did the producers, and I played Roger Debris, who ends up, if you know the show, plays Hitler.
Yeah.
Very gay. And so I kept my swastika armband, as you do. Mm-hmm. And of course, my friend who directed that show was pissed off at me because of all the costume pieces. He's like, you took the swastika armband. And I was like, you made that like 2 days before we opened. It's just a bunch of, sequins and a swastika. I'm pretty sure you can still rent out your Nazi uniforms, without that. But yeah, no, I have my top shelf. You can see my 2 Academy Awards up there.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Yeah, how about
those bowling trophies?
Sure.
I don't have my glasses on.
Sure, bowling trophies, Oscars, yeah, whatever. But no, I did a show. I did Man of La Mancha this summer, and not the title character. But my character was in charge of the prison, and I had
Security
a coin.
guard too.
Yeah, I rolled a coin between my fingers.
Right. Okay.
And I kept that. So that's in my little Dexter
Nice.
case. So no, I don't have body parts or blood cultures or anything like that. But when I was, and again, this leads back into divorce. Theater was my solace. That's what I escaped into. There was improv was my mistress, as I was told, and I won't argue that. But theater was my solace, and I dove into it. It was my escape to not have to be me. I could be somebody else, and really get into a character and escape, and that helped me heal. So, anyone else, would have whatever outlets people have. You should do that. You should take the opportunity and get out and live, and not, be self-absorbed. And I don't know. Holidays are tough. So today's been a tough day for me.
Has it?
Oh yeah.
How so? How is that? Because it's been a while.
Well, my parents are getting on in years, and they live in Michigan. My sisters live in Sacramento and Colorado. It's not easy to just go. So the only family that I have is my daughter. And again, we're doing, a Thanksgiving on Sunday, the three of us. But today there was the traditions, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, the Westminster Kennel Dog Show. Those are gone, and they have been. And today just hit. So today was a tough day. Plus I broke a bookshelf, and I was pissed. That's why the blackout curtain's hiding it. I buried the shelf. I broke it into pieces and buried it out in the desert. As you do. Yeah.
Well, how do you usually handle your holidays?
I'm kind of a Scrooge. I really don't like holidays. I find them very commercialized. I don't get into Christmas until about the 23rd and a half of December. I try. And, if I'm in a relationship, sometimes it's a little bit different. And I tried to do what I can. Last year, my daughter and I flew out to visit my parents for Christmas, and that was hard because they don't really do holidays anymore either. We used to have family traditions of, Italian spaghetti dinner for Christmas Eve. Don't really do that. And again, my sisters are older than I am. They have kids. My cousins, one of them's even passed away. Relatives pass. So people have moved on with their lives. So what I had is gone. And so I haven't really developed any new traditions. And maybe I'm holding on to some other ones. Don't look at me like this is therapy. Stop.
I'm just wondering. So the boyfriend and I were talking about this a little bit earlier about the difference in how we celebrate our holidays.
Obviously not by cooking.
Right. Well, that's it. I'm showing him my way.
Yeah.
Which is being isolated and not
It's
cooking.
very different than my way, which is being together with family and extended family and celebrating the holiday.
Yeah.
So we're trying to figure this out on our own too.
Yeah, we were talking about that because as I was telling him earlier, I said, I don't think my whole family, my brothers and my mom and dad and I have been together in the same room on a Christmas holiday or Thanksgiving for that matter. And, since the 80s.
How many siblings do you have?
2.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think, and especially since my last divorce, it's changed things because I've been on my own. my family has never been, we've celebrated holidays, but my family never puts the pressure on like, you need to be here for them. In fact, we encourage you to save your money and not spend that because everything's super expensive.
Oh, sure.
In holidays.
Well, especially when you were living in New York.
Yeah. It's like, just save your money and come home a different day, like come before the holidays or after the holidays, but don't pay triple the price just because of that day.
Yeah.
So I didn't. And I think over many years of doing that and just, having the orphan Christmases or the orphan Thanksgivings or where you just don't do anything.
And I have a hard time doing that. I was invited to like 5 or 6 different places
I don't like doing that.
And I feel like I'm usurping their family thing. And it's like, no, it's a bunch of us, And it's like, okay, then I have to, what do I need to bring? Do I need to bring? Yeah. And it just becomes
a thing,
an anxiety thing.
And I'd rather stay home and watch an old movie and go to bed and forget about it. Yeah. And that's what I did. I mean, one year.
No, that's not what we did today.
Well, that's not what we did today. No,
What did you two do today other than not pick up your parents at the airport?
We worked. Yeah.
We had our laptops open on a table working all day.
All day. We had some coffee.
Yeah.
We had an English muffin. And then we came here.
Wow.
And we were together. That's not even being alone.
Were you texting each other on your computers, IMing each other?
No, we try to keep that to a minimum.
Okay.
Because
if you're like across from each other and you're texting each other.
No, but we did that. It wasn't originally what we planned on happening, my parents' flight. So we drove in to see my parents and then...
Did you have to break into your parents' house?
No.
Yeah, she did.
Well,
See, I'm not the only criminal. Excellent.
You sure look like it.
That's a different story. But my parents were supposed to show up after we got here, but they had a problem with their flight and they're not coming in until tomorrow and we're going to already be gone. So, because we have now to go see his parents. So we spent the past 2 days on our own.
And go look it up, kids. Parump. PAHRUMP.
Rump.
Pa-rump. Look it up.
Hey, do you know the little drummer boy's favorite city?
Pa-rump.
Pum.
Yeah.
No?
Wow.
Oh,
No.
my mom's favorite joke.
Is it really?
Yeah. One of them. Yes. So
you got your humor from your dad?
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, we ended up sitting around. We decided not to go to the grocery store. We thought we'd go out to dinner today, and that didn't happen. And it's the boy.
Still early,
right? I mean, it's
Vegas. Everything's.
Yeah.
I mean, all the casinos are open, and I'm sure there's a Chinese restaurant in one of those casinos.
Yeah, because Chinese says Thanksgiving like nothing else.
Yeah, or there's a soup kitchen somewhere.
We actually talked about that earlier. He goes, I could have just gone and done that since you didn't cook. No. But I think holidays are tough in general. I think whether you have family or not, holidays are tough.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
Well, and
there's a lot of expectations that come with it.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing with, relationships. You have that buffer. You always have someone with you. Mm-hmm. When you're divorced, you don't necessarily have a buffer. And again, for me to travel, I could have spent all day in a car driving to Sacramento. My eyes are rolling, kids.
Yeah.
And again, the stress of that, the expense of that, for what? To see family? Sure. But I wasn't invited. So that would have been
jerks.
Yeah.
Are they listening?
Well, no, I think I think with family there's always an open invitation unless you've got that creepy uncle.
Unless you are that creepy uncle. Dexter. Bodies. As he slow chews some sausage and cracker. Are those pizza rolls done yet?
They're getting there.
All right, I can smell them. They actually smell quite delicious. Ooh, is that the timer?
Wow, look at you. Instinctual nose.
Do I know when a pizza roll is done or do I know? Thank you. You really shouldn't have.
As she kept asking, where are those pizza rolls? Where are those pizza rolls?
The first thing we we
Bitch
said,
better have my rolls.
the first thing we said when he opened the door, I'm like, have you eaten? Are you cooking? Did you cook today, Glenn? What's our friend Chris doing right now?
Yeah,
he's a mad cook.
Chris is watching. Vader is Anakin's father. Or Anakin is.
Spoiler alert!
Wow, I can't.
Spoiler
You messed that
alert!
up.
Wow, I totally messed it up. You know what? Now you're totally confused, audience. Look it up.
Our friend Chris is watching. He would not come over and join us today because he and his wife and guest are watching movies.
They're
from
having
35
a practical
years ago.
Thanksgiving.
Right, they're watching Star Wars.
Yeah, we're having a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving here. I'm gonna go get some popcorn and burn the roof of your mouth because it just came out of a 450-degree oven. That's the cooking channel portion of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Pizza rolls straight out of the oven are still 450 degrees on the outside. Odds are hotter than that on the inside. And so like a 3-year-old child eating pizza for the first time, Leanne has just burnt the roof of her mouth with whatever volcanic
She's only
contents.
5, really, so.
Drink some wine. I'm sure that'll make it feel better.
I'm used to things coming out of the Easy Bake Oven. It has a little bit different temperature to it. I mean, when I think of pot, that's
The
what
boyfriend eats well, ladies and gentlemen.
he's very thin. Please send
Easy
food.
bake. Well.
Canned goods. Non-perishables. Oh, yeah.
Send them in care of Lafter Divorce. Starbucks.
We have a Kickstarter.
It's more like a GoFundMe account.
Well, whatever works, man.
Yeah. So 3 years ago, I had a relationship about a year and a half after my divorce. And it lasted for about 3 years. And it came to a screeching halt.
Because of the pizza rolls?
Yes. And sometimes, just relationships aren't meant to be. And I had to get out. And so I had to get this place. And because I knew the manager here, it was like I got the place in like 6 hours.
Really?
Yeah. So it was a quick one of those, I need people to help me move.
Were you living with a woman?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. Year 2 of the relationship, I moved in with her. She was going through a divorce. But before she was even divorced, she was wanting to marry me. And I'm like, I'm not ready. And you're not even divorced yet. For her, it was, she needed to be married. And it wasn't as though I was against the idea, but I certainly wasn't considering it, wanting it, needing it, or even thinking about it. And what's funny is 5 months, almost 5 months to the day from when I broke up and moved out, she was married.
Really?
Yeah. She and I had a 3-year relationship. And 5 months after we broke up, she was married. So.
Is she still married?
When did she get her divorce finalized? Was it when you were with her? Or?
No, I did not move in
So
with
in
her
between
until,
that.
No, she was going through a divorce when she and I were dating. I did not move in with her until she was divorced, and it was about a year after we started dating.
Okay.
And I lived there for about 2 years. And it got to the point where it's just like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. And when I broke up with her, it was very ugly. You can, friend me on Facebook and go look back at the history.
Contact information will be in the show notes.
Yeah, well, good luck, because I'm pretty sure she still has me blocked. But she met somebody 2-3 months after.
Where
I
did
broke
you
up.
meet her?
Through theater.
Yeah.
Wow. Which there you go. Yeah. So don't shit where you eat, folks.
Right. So, I'm sorry, you put a pizza roll right in your mouth when you said that. No. Yeah, good thing.
The key to comedy, everyone.
Yeah.
Timing.
So, you met her, do you still perform with her? Is she done with theater now?
Well, no.
Because a lot of people kind of get into theater and improv to find somebody, and then
Well, she's a teacher, and she still has two school age kids, and she was doing some theater, and she's done some since, but I have not done a show with her since, and I don't suspect that she will ever audition for a show
that you're in.
that I might be in, and I have no problem with that. I mean, it's a small world, but that's entirely up to her. I hold no remorse, regrets, or anything. I try not to live with regrets. But and it was not great the way it ended. But most relationships that end typically don't end
Because
well.
it's great.
Yeah. So whether it's a divorce or whether it's a long-term relationship or whatever the case, you do learn from your past experiences, and I got to the point where it's just like, yeah, this is not the direction I want to be going. And
What was the big lesson that you took away from your marriage?
the one thing I've told myself repeatedly is that every relationship requires work daily and acknowledgement of the relationship. You can't take things for granted, and you certainly can't take people for granted. And we do that. We do that without even thinking about it. There has to be a conscious effort to keeping a relationship. Even if it's just something simple, acknowledgement of the other person on a daily basis, appreciation of what the person does, something you cannot make a relationship successful without putting in the work, period. I don't care what a therapist says. I don't care. You have to be committed to putting in the work. And it's the same as anything else. Career. If you want to have a successful career, you've got to put the work into it. What is a career? A career is a lifelong achievement of essentially work. Because I've had wine and I can't use a thesaurus. But if you don't put the time and effort into a relationship, you might as well have a pet.
And they require a lot of commitment too.
Well, you got to clean up their shit.
Yeah.
And again, people have shit too, emotional shit and, personal stuff.
So do you think that the woman you date now benefit from those lessons, or?
Well, presuming I'm dating or that anyone wants to date a divorcee,
Do you find that it's hard to find people to date since you've been divorced, or does it matter?
I don't know what I'm looking for. If I'm looking for, I'm not looking to date. I'm not 20 years old. It's interesting the way I approach people. I'm constantly attracted to different people for different reasons. Your boyfriend, he's very, very handsome.
I know. I saw the way you were eating the Tostino's pizza roll just now.
Yeah. Tostinos.
Yes. What did I say?
That's what you said. That's what you
That's
said.
what I said. Mm-hmm.
Brought to you by Faustino's. David Faustino. He makes great pizza rolls. And he was wonderful and married with children.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How do you find people to date? How do you go about that nowadays? Do you go online? Plenty of fish over 50?
Oh God, no! I will
Just
never.
catch up.
No.
eHarmony.
Oh no. Farmers only.
No, yeah.
Theater only.
I've never never done any of those online dating services. And
Yesand.com. No? There should be a dating service called yesand.com.
And there is now. I tend to be around a lot of the same people. I go to work. I leave work. I tend to have rehearsal. And if I don't have rehearsal, I come home. And so I see the same people. And those are the people I have close relationships with. To suggest that I haven't had relationships with people in theater would be stupid, because you have those emotional connections in shows. Those somehow morph into real relationships, and intelligent people who still take theatrical relationships and somehow make them work. I mean, you see it in Hollywood. You see it all over the place. And I'm not opposed to that, but I'm not looking. I've been married. I'm not looking to get married again. If it happens, great. It'll be the right person. First time for love, second time for money, right? I don't know. What's the third time, Leanne?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that pizza rolls. I don't know. Someone who cooks.
What?
Someone who cooks.
Wait,
boyfriend.
no. We're not married now. Just because I made you pizza rolls, we're not committed.
I don't know, but the boyfriend,
No.
Oh.
No, I tend to still stay on the. Sorry, bro.
That's right, man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
There's a lot of posturing going on. I was like,
I don't know. Where were we talking about other than pizza rolls?
dating, where you find people and you're talking about the theater.
I'm not really looking at dating. I'm kind of in a multi-person relationship because I hang out with a lot of actors and actresses that are half my age. So after rehearsal, I've spent a few hours with some of these people. We might go out for drinks.
Right.
And those are the same people I see regularly. And some of them you're like inquisitive about, but I'm not looking. So I'm just kind of living.
Well, you're in Vegas too.
Yeah.
And I think dating here is much different than other places.
Yeah. And it's not to say that I haven't dated in the time that I've been here, which has been about 3 years. Excuse me, audience, for burping or whatever. That was the dog or Leanne. I'm not sure.
The cat.
Yeah, the cat. Leanne. I've dated, 3 or 4 individuals.
Yeah.
But not super seriously. It always goes in kind of with the verbal prenup of, hey, we're already friends. Let's see, let's figure, let's try, let's whatever. So, I'm not looking at plenty of kettles of farmers and fish or whatever.
Right.
Christiansonly.com or in this area, Mormonsonly.com.
Or yes, and you're over 40. Right.
Yeah. And again, I'm attracted to women of all different ages.
Yeah.
I've got to be careful because, the last thing I want to do is bring somebody to meet my daughter and be like, oh, we took a class together. Oh my God.
Be like, oh, good. Yeah.
Of course, my daughter's in the other room listening. So, I do say things just for her cringing.
Mm-hmm. Be like, oh, Dad. Yeah. Yeah. No, it is. Dating, I think, too, at an older age is different because where you meet people or what your interests are and over a long term is different. And plus, I think it gets to a point where it's like, meh.
And I really don't consider it dating anymore. Dating seems to be, and again, I don't know I don't think kids date anymore.
No.
Kids just hang out. Yeah.
They swipe left or right.
Right.
It's a reference to some web thing.
It's a thing called Tinder.
Oh, Tinder. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, I am not going to be that person. I will never go online to find someone.
Not even on LinkedIn?
Nope.
All right.
Oh. What gotta look for on LinkedIn a business partner?
I don't know.
Jeez. No, I did meet someone on MySpace last week.
Yeah, it was because you posted a new music video
That's
on your
right.
site, right?
That's right. That's right.
New theme music.
Yeah, Blogspot. No, and I'm just at a point where, you know, my priorities have shifted, and I think that's probably the key, is that when you're younger, you know, you think you have to get married, you think you have to have kids, you think you have to follow in the footsteps of tradition or whatever, that these societal expectations. And I've moved past that. I'm doing what makes me happy. And if it makes me happy to be with someone, guess what I'm going to do? If it makes me happy to not be with someone, pretty sure I will do that. I'm at a point in my life where I've been married, I've dated, I've done these things. I want to focus on the things that make me happy. Is it career? I don't know. I have a job. I don't necessarily look at that job as, oh my God, I can't wait to go to work on Monday. No.
And you've had your job for a long time.
Well, I actually just shifted. I left the college I was working at. I've been there for 12 years. And now I work for the state.
Oh.
So instead of interacting with students and teachers and deans, and I sit in an office now. So it's almost as if I've divorced my wife of 12 years and am now single again.
Yeah.
And again, there is a similarity. It's a transition. It's, what do you do? How do I do this job now? You know, I was so comfortable. You took things for granted. And in a job, you know, maybe there's less emotional connection to where you can probably get away with it. But, you know, with a person, you can't.
Right. Well, if you were to have an ideal relationship at this point in your life, what would that look like?
Someone that is in a similar position as I am, that has already done all those other things and wants to grow with someone. My ex and I, we just grew apart. Whatever interests we had together separated, you know, far before she and I physically separated. But someone who takes a similar interest and wants to share in those exact same things with me, which is probably why, you know, those that I have dated have been in the theater. They understand.
Right.
And they are equally as messed up in the head as I am.
Because it is a whole different lifestyle.
It is.
Doing theater and performing, and
it's a commitment. You know, for a very short period of time that you may be on stage. The rehearsal process is sometimes lengthy and frustrating, and it's a shared experience with your fellow castmates. And your fellow castmates have to be in the journey with you. So there is a camaraderie that's developed. There is a sense of family. I had the privilege of playing Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof. None of us were Jewish, but by God, by the end of that production, we were all family, and we were all, I don't know, Jewish has nothing to do with it other than that's, you know, a significant plot point in the show. But, you know, it was a 2.5 month process.
There's a certain bond that's built over doing a show with people.
And there has to be to have a successful show, because otherwise the audience isn't going to believe you.
And you do have to have a chemistry with people that you are on stage with. And it brings things to a whole new heightened level. Like There's an instant bond that you don't get. There's like a profound sense of belonging with a group of people that you wouldn't otherwise have if you were just to meet randomly. Right. Yeah.
And I've had the fortune of, you know, over the last year and a half, there's been a small group of us that have managed to be cast in the same shows.
Oh, wow.
And that's my family. Unfortunately, they're all kind of spread out. You know, they have their own families.
Yeah.
And that's just one of those perks, to be able to spend time with those people that you really care about, and not be able to come home with them, but be able to have those same shared experiences, and they mean the same things to everyone. So, yeah. I don't even know if there was a question in there or an answer.
It was asking.
That's what happens when you drink wine during an interview, kids.
It's like, oh, look, nappy time.
Boyfriend, wake up.
It makes a lot of sense, and I understand. I understand. Like, I get it, because I think when you're going through and you're living a life of pursuing your passions in the arts and doing those kind of things, you feel a strong sense of connection to that. And it's hard to maintain a relationship when you have that and other things going on. Like basic motor skills.
Well, and you've been there.
Yeah.
And it's different from perspective of, I guess, doing stand-up comedy, where that's very personal and very private, and that's just you. Mm-hmm. But there certainly would be individuals that you would perform with on a regular basis, that you'd hear their sets and you'd connect with them, and you got to share notes.
It's so true. Well, I ran a mic for 7 years. So there was a group of regulars who would come to my mic for all, years and years and years. And you get to know people, and you establish a bond, and you watch them grow as performers and people. And because of you listen to the material and then work things out, you've listened to them go through relationships and experiences in life that, and over a period of time, there's a bond there.
Sure.
And you're sharing things, and we're all, have a lot of the same dreams and same goals in mind. And so it's a whole thing. And I think, even if we show up to perform at a show that we're not normally on, there's a respect and an understanding and a I don't know, it's kind of like your tribe,
Yeah.
It's like, these are my people, and they get what I'm doing. But it is a whole different lifestyle. It's not just having a job in another industry. It's like, it's different. It's different. We keep different hours. We keep different, we use a different side of our brain that, you might use as you sit down at a desk and stuff like that during the day. And, anybody who's performed, which, like the boyfriend, you understand, because you've spent a lot of time in a band.
Want to give too much away?
Yeah, give too much away.
We're gonna
Google
the boyfriend and find out. But
I love that the song "Round and Round" you guys were.
I actually saw that band open up for Bon Jovi.
Did you really?
No, vice versa.
Bon Jovi opened for Rat?
Rat.
Wow.
Yeah. The only song they had out.
That's how old Leanne is.
I was one. I was just a thought. No. So, but it is a different kind of setting and lifestyle and pursuits to some degree. But then you meet people who are doing other things in the business world, and they can be just as passionate, and they spend just as many hours at the office.
But the difference is that people in the business world, or even in the field that I am, we don't have that emotional, creative connection that you guys do, that makes that relationship even more than a typical 40-hour work week kind of relationship. And I appreciate that. Yeah. I don't come from that world, but I do appreciate that.
Well, I'm curious, because I don't know, when did you start performing?
Me?
Yeah. I mean, was it something as a result of
divorce?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It kind of. After my second divorce, I decided I was going to pursue all the things that I had even a remote thought of doing, and start saying yes to things. And this was before I started doing improv and
right. No, because I know you were a go-go dancer and a
right, yeah, earning tons of money. So
where's my dance? Boyfriend's learned a lot of things about Leanne's previous life in Vegas.
Did you never ask what that pole was used for?
Damn it! Should have asked.
So.
Granted, it's a short pole.
My thing is, though, is I keep my socks on. That's my signature. So, what was my point?
No, well, no. I mean, since I've known you, you've been a performer. But
when did I start?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone I worked with, several people I worked with were always suggesting, because I did a lot of public speaking and writing and got really creative with presentations at work all the time. And so several people at work had come to me and approached me about, like, why aren't you pursuing comedy? And I was like, yeah, whatever. And Second City had to open their training center in Vegas. And one of our city presidents came in my office, and his wife was an actor in LA. And he was like, why aren't you pursuing this? Like, why aren't you taking Second City classes and doing this kind of thing? And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, are you serious? Or are you just, shooting the shit with me for a minute? And he's like, no, I'm totally serious. And so we talked about it. I'm like, oh yeah, maybe that's something I'll check out. And I think within a week of that, I opened City Life magazine here. And I flipped it open, and right there, smack dab in the middle, was an ad for Second City Training Center.
And City Life is no longer
a thing
in existence. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's only Vegas Weekly.
No, there's non-sponsor. Shout out to City Life.
Yes, yeah. Shout out to a weekly magazine that no longer exists.
So Tostinos. So yeah, I found it in there, and I gave it a call, and sure enough, they had a class starting up, and that's.
Is that when you were still working at Blockbuster?
Yes.
Another sponsor that no longer exists, folks.
Yeah.
And Mervin's.
Mervin.
Gottschalks.
Open. Yes. And, we still played Atari.
Mm-hmm.
Does that no longer exist?
No, Atari's still
coming back.
Oh,
yeah.
Never mind. Well, then they owe us a lot of money for this episode.
It's whatever.
Whatever.
Send your email to laughterdivorce@aol.com.
And if you listened to last 2 weeks ago's episode, you'll know the gentleman who designed all of those AOL CDs you received in the mail.
I have one in my office.
It's worth money.
No, the one I have in my office is unopened, so it's still in its cardboard packaging, and it's a 5 1/4 floppy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Boyfriend. Yeah.
Yes.
Fist bump.
You're gonna find your future ex-wife on there.
The 5 1/4 floppies, kids.
They were actually floppies.
They were actually, and they're 5 1/4 inches, not the hard floppy disks that were, 3 1/2.
And they don't even know about those anymore either.
Nope. The icon,
Google it.
the save icon in Microsoft Word. Oh, sponsor. Is a pictogram of what the floppy disk actually looked like. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I might have to include these things in the show notes with photographs.
Sure, why not?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but and it was given. Working at the college, I would always constantly get stuff from. If it was computer related, it was given to me to dispose of, or to surplus,
or take home,
or dispose. And I left a lot of stuff at the college when I left it. I had an old Commodore PC that was
Commodore
found.
64 or
I had one of those.
It was a
Commodore VIC-20.
It was after that, and it wasn't a 64. It had
the Commodores. That was
bay.
the band that sang.
It had a dual bay.
Okay.
But it was found under the stairwell near one of our libraries.
Where you dispose of all computers.
It
really?
was. Oh yeah. And those that had the big white computers, they'd yellow over age.
Yeah.
But this thing was still white
because no sun
it never
exposure.
saw sun for 25 years.
Wow.
The Community College of Southern Nevada the College of Southern Nevada used to be the Community College of Southern Nevada, which used to be Clark County Community College back in 1983. Yeah. So this computer went back to Clark County Community College, 1983.
What?
And every once in a while, I would have my office. I was the computer asset manager at CSN, and so my office was kind of a museum. And I loved it because it was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Where'd that come from?
And you could actually tell them.
Yeah. So I had an old Commodore PC, had old publicity posters from the college from, back in the day.
Yeah.
I had a Mac Plus on my cabinet. I had a...
was it Apple IIe's and Apple II? Those things...
They
still sell for beaucoup bucks on...
Do you remember those Gateway stores?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have one of those things?
No, I had gateway drugs. But I had I had an old Time Life book series, from 1980. That probably even had some. And I have it in my new office. There was one thing I kept. I made a chess checkers board out of old floppy disks. So I just alternated the disks, and I took hard drive magnets and made the chess pieces out of them, and took processors and laptop RAM and made checkers pieces. Nerd.
For our listeners.
Yeah. Wake up. You got tryptophan setting
We
in.
need to insert what are those alarms that go off?
I was going to say,
with
you
a
need
test
to
of
do
your
like
broadcast system?
VH1 liquid television. Oh, VH1 proud sponsor.
Remember when MTV played
pop-up
music?
video.
Pop-up video.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you need to
Yeah.
do with this, except it's podcast. So pretty much everything pop up.
What pops up on a podcast?
I don't know. What does?
I don't know. Tostinos.
Hmm.
That's what happens. Everybody's jelly out there right now because they're not having this delicious Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah, but it might be Tuesday, so maybe they are.
That could be.
I saw a great recipe. You take egg roll wrappers and you put like a little mashed potato, a little cranberry, a little stuffing, a little turkey, roll it up, and you fry them up, and you make Thanksgiving egg rolls out of your leftovers, and you dip them in gravy.
That sounds fantastic.
I think everything sounds fantastic to the boyfriend right now since we didn't eat anything but an English muffin all day.
I made you pizza rolls. So
Yes,
there
I
you go.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
So
we did kill off the cheese plate here.
we did
pretty well.
We did. I am a good cook. I'm very proud of that cheese plate from Trader Joe's. But I
Sponsor.
What was the
sponsored.
fruitcake?
Yeah, so the fruitcake that was crackers with cranberries smashed in them. What did you think of those?
I didn't know, and I didn't eat one.
You
so.
should really put some brie on that and test it out.
Yeah, let me try this.
So these are Trader Joe's brand crackers with cranberry and brie cheese. Glenn's slathering that brie right on the cracker. We're about to hear, and he's putting it in his mouth, and there it goes, folks. He slowly, there it goes. Yes.
Oh.
He is chewing. There's some crunching going on. I hear some crunching.
I'm spiking that audio, aren't I?
Right? So boyfriend is watching the audio mix. Seeing what parts he has
That's actually
to
kind of
edit.
creepy. That I'm like chomping into the mic and he's like staring at a screen going, yeah. I don't
He's
need
like,
to edit
I'm
that.
seeing some
I don't
I
hot
have my
here.
choice. Do I watch him eat it or do I watch the screen?
Yeah.
Well, he's watching because if it goes into the red, he's going to have to,
Do some
Edit the
editing. 'Cause
audio.
It's a little hot.
Yeah.
A little hot.
Yep.
So do you have any advice for our listeners out there who may need your advice going through their divorce journey or dating or maybe even cooking for bachelors?
You should definitely know how to cook. I mean, basic life skills are necessary. But, so far as, if you're going through divorce, the platitudes of don't worry, it'll get better. It does. But you really just have to push yourself forward. And what worked for me may not work for everyone, but there are those things in your life that bring you joy. And if, the person in your life who brought you joy is no longer there, that doesn't mean that you still can't find happiness. You most likely need to find it with yourself, first and foremost. You can never be happy with anyone else if you're not happy with yourself. For me, it was, a lot of my problems stemmed from not taking care of a medical condition. I was discharged from the military because of my depression. And it was 10 years that I dealt with that, self-medicating like I'm doing tonight with this wine. And I always thought I could handle it. And because I always had someone. So I realized that I couldn't handle it, and that's okay. You're okay, ultimately. The world is not going to end. The world may seem like it's closing in. The world may seem like you don't have a place in it, but you do. And you just have to wake up and make some new goals. That there is no one solution, but the answer is not giving up. It's never giving up. As far as, anything else, I think it all comes from the same thing. Date, don't date. Do what makes you happy. If you enjoy hiking, fine, go hike. You like skateboarding, you've never skateboarded, your situation. Go do the things that you've never thought you could. Go jump out of a plane with a parachute or not. Whatever makes you happy.
Whatever makes you happy.
It's not the jumping out of the plane that kills you. It's the landing that kills you.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I was going to segue, but you'll land. But you will land.
One way or another.
No.
Thanks, Glenn.
No, and everyone's situation is different. When people are divorced and there's money involved, or there's kids involved, or there's property involved, it's a lot of stress. Mm-hmm. I refuse to allow there to be. I just material things didn't matter to me. They were just stuff. You look around my walls; they're my memories. You get rid of all the pictures on my walls. I still have the memories. This just keeps it fresh,
right?
To where I can look around and have the nice little smile. And for me, that's what I need. Some people would call it very narcissistic. Yeah, whatever. I don't care. Your opinion of me is not important. This makes me happy, and I don't care what anyone else thinks. So I don't know if that's how you leave it, but you have to be happy with yourself and do what makes you happy.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I hope so.
No, that's incredibly valuable. Just
fairly simplistic though, but
yeah, but it doesn't need to be complicated.
It shouldn't be.
Why do we make things complicated? We shouldn't.
No, but we do. We inherently make things more difficult because we seem to think that if there's complexity in it, it's justified somehow.
Or better. And it's not.
It's not. It sucks one way or the other. Life is not the greatest thing in the world. People have stress. People have problems. People have family members that bring them problems and stress, jobs, whatever, all those things. And we try to write those off and with some other justification. Doesn't work.
No.
So, for me, I just, after my divorce, I, made it a point to be honest. People may not like me because of it. Sorry. I'm not gonna lie.
But it sounds like you were more honest with yourself too.
Yeah.
Which helped you.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
That's part of it. But not only being honest with me, but being honest with other people. And if somebody asks me an opinion of something, I will preface it. Are you sure? Do you really want? Because and those that are closest to me know that I'm not going to pull punches. I have stronger friendships now because of that. Because I don't coddle to people. I've got far better things to do in the world than to make somebody try and feel better. No, you screwed up. You stop screwing up. Pull yourself together and let's move forward. I got you right now. Let's go. But you're going to fix this.
So come from more of an authentic place.
It's got to be.
Come from a truthful place, just like in theater. You're not acting, you're being truthful.
Right? Oh, look at you. And read the book, Truth in Comedy.
Yes. And How to Stop Acting. Do you remember that book?
Yeah. Shut Up and Listen.
Yeah. There's some good ones.
Yeah. And there's a lot to be said. Improv has been a very important factor in my life. Acting in and of itself, you learn a lot about yourself by pretending to be other people.
Mhm. Well, and you know what? If you don't mind me jumping in, one of the things.
No, it's your show. Jeez,
one of the
please.
things, please.
It's only three
Please,
hot.
you're the guest. You're the special guest this week. But
There's
one
only
of the things,
3 pizza rolls left. So.
Oh God, I better hurry up. One of the things that I think of as you're talking about this is, being in theater and performing and doing that requires us to be very in the moment and to be completely present
And vulnerable.
And I think, when I think back on a lot of my relationships, that's sometimes missing. There's a fear of being vulnerable because that's scary. But the minute we can step on stage and do that, that's when we draw our audience in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the same thing happens in relationships. The minute we open up and we can become vulnerable, that's when we bring people in.
Yeah.
Bring people closer. And it's not having that fear of being authentic.
Very true. And you find very quickly, much in the same way of a performance, by opening yourself up and being vulnerable, you find out those that will take advantage of that. And you will find out those that are sympathetic. And so by allowing yourself to be vulnerable and allowing yourself the possibility of being hurt, you will find people that will be a stronger part in your life because they don't want to take advantage of that. You'll find those that do, but you have to put yourself out there with the expectation that you're going to get hurt. And what was the show I just saw? I just saw a production of The Fantastics, and there's a lovely line in there, and maybe it's a good closing for this.
Mm-hmm.
You have to die a little to grow.
Mm.
So you prune back a plant. Why? To make it grow. You get hurt in life, in relationships. Why? Because you learn from it and you grow. If you never prune a plant, it won't thrive. It will be stunted. Bonsai trees are a great example of kind of a reverse aspect of that, where you keep it small, but you still have to prune it. You still have to nurture it. And part of nurturing is allowing for someone to be hurt. Mm-hmm. We're afraid of our children getting hurt, but if they don't get hurt, they'll never learn. So I punch my daughter on a regular basis.
As she sticks her head out the
which
door.
is true.
Yeah.
No. Every once in a while, we'll play the Charlie horse game. She's gotten better.
Yeah.
She's not afraid to hit me back. And lately she wins. So, but yeah, I guess that's a good way to put it. You've got to allow yourself to be hurt, otherwise you'll never grow and you'll never get through it.
So true. Mm. Well, I'm so glad that you invited us into your home tonight.
I'm glad none of us died.
Right? Yeah, we haven't gotten out of here yet, you guys. So if you need to find us,
as soon as you hit send,
we still have to pack this up.
Yeah.
But no, this has been awesome, and I'm so glad I got to see you. It's been way too long.
Far too long.
We need to do this way more often.
I'm always at your disposal. You've been a dear friend for years.
We're going to put all of your contact information in the show notes so people can stalk on you. Also, so they can check you out in some productions when they're here in Vegas, because that's a must. People are always looking for shows to see in Vegas.
I do have a website out there, so feel free to post that. Mm-hmm. Facebook's not going to help you because I don't keep a public profile.
Okay, but we can put your website on there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can put your phone number and your address. That's always plus.
Sure, because the ones I gave you aren't mine.
Gate code is. That's a bonus for this week. But no, we will definitely keep in touch, obviously, and we're a short drive away.
Yeah.
And
I do have one last question. The whole idea of I found your glove, I found your pants. Where does that come from?
I find a lot of things.
Yeah. No, but you'll.
Why did that start?
Yeah. Just random clothing items.
So for the listeners, in case you're not my friend on Facebook, I do find a lot of things over the years. And I think it started probably like in 2000. Gosh, it started a while ago.
Yeah.
Like,
Did it start here in Vegas or New York?
no, it started in New York. I
Yeah.
found a boot. I found a boot in a stairwell. It was the first thing I found. It was probably like, it's got to be 7 years ago.
Or
8
longer.
years
Yeah.
ago. I found a boot in a stairwell and I posted a picture of it and I found your boot. And it must have received 20 something comments in the first day. And since then, I've been finding things since. And every time I
But
post,
it was never to any one particular person.
no, it's just I found your.
Oh, I love it even
blank.
more now because now I don't feel weird about.
No,
Because every once in a while I'll be like, when I was doing Tony and Tina's at Bally's, I think that was the last time I posted something, and I'm sure it was some drunk person who just got out of the elevator or was waiting
it
at
was
the
a
elevator.
high heel, wasn't it?
It was high. It was a
Yeah.
high heel sitting by the trash or by the smoke
Yes.
ash can,
I remember that.
and it's just like, click, Leanne, found your high heel.
I remember that.
Just one.
I know all of my I found you. I have a very good lost and found box on my Facebook page. So in case you've been anywhere in New York or Vegas,
Oh, yeah.
Chicago, LA.
We do it here in Long Beach. We see stuff on
We
the beach
see-
all the time.
Oh, every time we go for a bike ride, we find a million things on the beach. So yeah, flip flops. I've got a slew of flip flops.
Found your arm.
Right. Oh, look at the boyfriend. He loves finding stuff. So yeah, that's where that came from.
Yeah.
I found you. And hey, I found your podcast.
Well, if you guys are going to Pahrump tomorrow, don't stop off at exit 97 or anything.
No?
No,
Is that the brothel?
no, that's where what?
The brothel?
No, that's where I buried stuff.
Oh, okay. All right, sure.
I don't even know if there's an exit
Hookers and
97.
dead stuff.
Oh
that
no,
you
no, no!
buried. Great.
The hookers are still in my trunk.
Okay, all right.
Can't bury all of them.
No,
No.
gotta keep one around.
Well, they're good for something. They do cook. So
Not all of them.
this is a whole new podcast. No, but awesome. It has been great. And thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thank you. It's been fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It was great.
And thank you for these pizza rolls.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. They were turkey stuffed pizza rolls. Yeah.
Tostinos. A non-sponsor.
They can't be a sponsor if you don't pronounce the name right.
What is it?
Yeah, you haven't got it right yet tonight.
What is it?
Doesn't matter.
Tatiana's? What is it?
Yep.
Exactly. Yes.
Tatiana's pizza rolls. You guys.
Christy Yamaguchi's pizza rolls.
All right. I'm going to go look at that box.
If there's
It
no
was in a
box, there's a
bag.
bag.
I'm trying to close the show. What is it? Tostinos?
You know what? You need to stop recording because she'll never know.
And we lost our host. It's done.
Tostinos.
I'm in the kitchen. Totinos.
Rotinis. Rotundas.
I've never seen that bag before.
Well, why would you? You've never been in my kitchen before.
Okay, good night.
Thanks.
I'm going to end on that.